What are we even doing? For those of you who don't know, a couple weeks ago, history was made by Capitol Records. 11 days later, it was made again by Capitol Records. Now, they signed a deal with AI-powered rapper FN Meka. Now, for those of you who don't know who FN Meka is, he has a huge following on social media, over 10 million followers on TikTok, a huge Instagram presence as well. His Spotify has over 612,000 million listeners. Wow, I'm just going to put a hole in my head right now. But as his bio reads, FN Meka is the world's biggest AR rapper. His presence rides on the ambiguity of the blurred lines between humans and computers, which sets him apart from the human rappers and influencers. Now, this is real life, guys, by the way. Like, I'm reading something that is actually happening. This is not fake news. This is not something that's been made up. No, this is actually legitimate. This is a robot-inspired rapper who has been given a legitimate record deal by one of the major labels within the industry. He is notorious for over-the-top flexing and extravagant style, which contributed to the rapid build of his social media following. Fuck, I need to go back and watch iRobot. It's happening, Will Smith. But yeah, basically the premise of this is that AI scours just hundreds of thousands of social media posts by artists. It listens to all kinds of rappers' songs. It looks at their lyrics, and then it generates and comes up with what it sees as the most popular and best performing lyrics. And then they have a guy behind the scenes who is a real life rapper who goes on and records whatever this AI generated and wrote. Now, how much of it the AI actually wrote and how much humans have like taken it and tweaked it and, you know, massaged it, I don't know. I don't know what the like the baseline is for how much it needs to be written by the computer for it to be considered like full AI generated and for them to market it this way. But obviously it reaches a certain baseline. I'm not like stupid enough to sit here and go, oh, the AI is literally writing and doing everything and setting aside the diction and how things should be delivered and how things should be done. I don't think we're at that stage yet. I mean, check with me 50 years from now when Knox Hill's not doing reactions, but the robot version of me is. I mean, they even dropped a debut single called Florida Water featuring a well-established artist in Gunna and also featuring the streamer Clicks. But I'll save you guys the time for the reaction and full review of that track. It was pretty much this. Now, some of you may be hearing this information and go, what the hell is this? And just be completely flabbergasted by this whole situation, and you aren't the only ones. I mean, there was huge backlash against this. FN Meka likes to drop the N-bomb a lot, likes to talk about very stereotypical situations. There was a social media post of him getting beat up in jail, saying he can't wait to get free so he can drop more fire music and like condemning police brutality and just basically perpetuating every single cultural stereotype that you can around hip-hop music currently in the mainstream. And people were pissed. I mean, Industry Blackout came out with a statement, have you lost your effing minds? This digital effigy is a careless abomination and disrespectful to real people who face real consequences in real life. But here's the thing. Here is the scary reality of this artificially induced situation is that ARs at Capitol Records thought this is someone that we need to sign. This is a concept that we want to run with. And Capitol Records at the time probably saw themselves as innovating the industry and doing something new within the genre of hip hop and rap music. And there were board meetings, there were discussions, there were a lot of important people who sat the fuck down, talked about this, and thought it was a genuinely good idea. And then they signed off on it, which just goes to show you how little they actually think of the art form and the culture around rap music. It's all about this at the end of the day. And I mean, hell, from a exec's perspective, what better way than to sign an AI artist who you can fully control, who you don't have to deal with, you know, wants, needs, basic human emotions and things, because yeah, you can control every single situation. I see the benefit of it from a big label because they can say and do whatever they want and pretty much just absolutely rape and pillage the contract of a computer generated AI because it has to respond to whatever humans program it to do. But because of all this backlash and social media explosion, Capitol Records did finally realize it was a bad idea. 11 days later, they then made the unprecedented move to pull an AI rapper from its catalog of artists. But this is just the beginning. I mean, this is not going to go away. AI, as it contributes to our world, to our society, as technology continues to improve, you're going to see more AI involved within the industry. I mean, we see it all the time with vocal mixing, vocal production, melodyne, auto-tuning, pitch correction, programs like that help with the mixing and the mastering perspective. But from a lyrics creation perspective, I am sure that we will start seeing more AI along the way. And who knows, we will probably get more AI rappers because, again, their perspective on the industry. Now, from an MC's perspective, here's the thing about, hip hop and rap music from my side. We're not singers. We don't have that talented singing voice. This isn't fucking pop music, right? Where just because we can sing really well, you can have a really good producer to produce your stuff. You can have a team of writers who write all your stuff. No, the biggest selling point from an MC's perspective is our ability to write with our pens, our ability to rap, the way that we use rap as a poetic outlet and talk about the things that we know and talk about the things that we've seen. I mean, that has always been the calling card and the art form for rappers. And the other most important thing about rap, but about music genres in general, is emotional connection. The audience has to connect with the music emotionally. I've always said that. Music is subjective at the end of the day. People have different tastes, different likes, and different interests. But the one thing that unites us all is when we emotionally connect to an artist, we emotionally connect to a song. And as you know, robots cannot exude emotion. That is something that comes from humanity. That is something that comes from ourselves. It comes from our lives. It comes from our experiences. And we take those different experiences, those tragedies, those losses, those joys, those highs, and we find a way to pour them out into our lyricism and into our music. And that's something a machine is never going to be able to replicate, is that way of seeing and thinking about the world and doing it. Sure, a machine can take a bunch of really generic, really shallow lyrics that you might find on hit radio songs, on hit mainstream songs, and regurgitate that, but there's no depth to it. There's nothing that's going to make people come back 10 years from now and go, wow, that was a classic song. That is amazing. That is something that still affects my life in a certain way. That is something I still connect to emotionally. You're never ever truly going to get that. It's really a bastardization of rap and of hip hop, and it just goes to show how lowly and lesser some of these execs and some of these labels actually think of rap music in general, that it's yeah, we can just get a fucking machine to do this because it doesn't matter, we're gonna sell anyways. But I don't know, I mean, what do you guys think about this situation? How do you feel about AI artists, AI musicians in general, no matter the genre, and what do you think this means for the future of rap and the future of hip-hop within the industry? Comment down below, let me know your thoughts, guys. Also, if you're here at the end of this video, do me a huge favor as well. Subscribe and notifications on, support the channel directly. I really, really do appreciate it. I'm glad that you can do a human action of subscribing still to this day. Please do it before the robots eventually take over and win the Matrix over us all.
So caution knocks will leave you nauseous. Noxious, how I reap a sauces, taxes, drop the fiends in office. I don't mean to be this heartless. Fuck the club and diamonds. I bring spades and coffee. I've been feeling like I ain't high yet. Still I'm on this jet, wrecking mileage.